Hey guys, I'm Thad Barnette from the Metal Roofing channel. Today I'm doing an autocomplete interview inspired by the great people over at Wired. We're doing our own version today. Basically, my team has kindly curated about 10 or so questions about metal roofing from online sources, and I'm gonna do my best to answer them. I haven't seen these yet, so let's start with the first one. All right, question number one. Is metal roofing sustainable? Absolutely, metal roofing is sustainable. I think the first thing I like to tell people is that metal roofing is already made up largely of recycled material. And then eventually, once that metal roof kind of comes to the end of its useful life, you can recycle it and start the process all over again. One other quick note about metal roofing and sustainability is that metal roofs can help you save money on energy bills by reflecting the sun's heat and energy away from the building, saving you money every month on energy costs. All right, question number two. I love that sound. Is metal roofing better?
Leave that.
Is metal roofing better than shingles? So I would say in a lot of situations, metal roofing is the right choice, but not in every situation. There's pros and cons to weigh with every choice, and there's the right system for you and your project. Sometimes that might be metal roofing, sometimes it might be shingles. A couple things that come into that decision for me is first, I'd look at budget. If you're talking standing seam metal roofing, that's gonna be 2, 3, sometimes even more times the cost of shingles. So that right there, you can't really say if metal roofing is better than shingles for your project. It comes down to budget first. What I will say is metal roofing inherently has a longer lifespan and has better durability when it comes to extreme weather than traditional asphalt shingle systems. It's tested, proven in laboratories in real world situations. All right, question 3. Is metal roofing fire resistant? Absolutely it is. We're seeing metal roofs be installed in places like California and other areas that are prone to wildfires because metal does really help protect buildings and structures. But one of the most important things to remember about this is it's not just the metal that's protecting the building, it's the entire assembly. That's why when you hear things about Class A rated assemblies, it really is the entire part of that roofing system, not just the metal. Because if you think about it, if you've got a metal panel on top of a wooden deck, that metal panel can actually get heated up enough to make the wood deck combust, which then defeats the purpose, right? So you have to have some kind of fire barrier in between the metal and the plywood. So it's all about that assembly. But the bottom line of this, yes, metal roofing is fire resistant. All right, question 4. Is the blue metal roofing theory real? How did I know that this one was going to be on here? Okay, so blue metal roofing theory, there's a lot that goes into it, but I think one of the questions that people have is, do blue metal roofs stand up to fire? Does it burn like other roofing materials, other colors? And my answer is pretty much going to be the same thing as the is metal roofing fire resistant. This is really all about metal standing up to the heat, literally. There's no real science in metal roofing that talks about the color changing the fire resistance of metal roofing. It comes down to that Class A rated assembly and how much that metal roofing is actually protecting the building versus the color protecting the building. Does blue metal roofing burn? Well, metal doesn't, so I don't think the blue part matters as much. Oh, this is fun. All right, number 5. Metal roof. Are metal roofs loud? This is a question everybody has because they think about rainstorms and standing underneath a carport or a barn that has a metal roof where you can actually look up and see the metal panels, and they're imagining that rain pounding on that roof, and everyone's kind of worried that that's gonna be their reality every single night that there's a rainstorm. When the truth of the matter is, when you're looking at a carport or when you're looking at a barn, you can actually look up into the ceiling and see the underside of those metal roofing panels. Whereas on a house, you've got insulation, you have roof decking, you have attic space, you've got maybe another floor, you've got drywall, you've got that ceiling, and that is gonna take away that sound that you hear when you're standing under a carport or a barn. So are metal roofs loud? In our experience, metal roofs aren't any louder than asphalt shingles in most situations when you've got all of that extra material between that metal panel and you. If you've got questions that we don't answer today, put them in the comments. Maybe we'll do this again. All right, number 6. It's not as satisfying when you don't do it in one rip. Are metal roofs expensive? Absolutely. Metal roofs can be 2 or 3 times the cost of an average asphalt shingle roof. And I'm talking specifically standing seam metal roofing. This is high quality metal roofing that's gonna last you 60 years or more. In that lifetime of that metal roof, you can probably replace your asphalt shingles 2 or 3 times that you would have to replace that metal roof just once. So are they expensive? Yes. Most of the reason is the material is a factor for sure. The paint's a factor for sure. It comes down to the installation and the craftsmanship. There's just not as many people who can install a standing seam metal roof well. Whereas if you look at asphalt shingles, there's way more installers who can do that and do it really fast. All right, number 7. How do metal roofs hold up to hurricanes? Oh, great question. All right, so I think there's a theme here in a few of these, and I'm gonna answer this question first and then I'll kind of explain the theme. The answer is they hold up to hurricanes probably better than any other roofing system out there for the most part. When we look at places like the Caribbean, like Florida, Texas coastline, more and more people are, and businesses, commercial buildings are switching over to standing seam metal roofs because of their ability to hold up. And the theme that I was mentioning earlier was real world testing and engineering. Metal roofs are only as good as they're installed, and an installation is only as good as the testing that was used to design the installation. So what I mean by that is when you take a metal roofing system and you design an installation assembly with clips, fasteners, clip spacing, all of those different things, and you test it to meet a certain wind speed, a certain design pressure, when you know that information, you can apply that installation assembly to those hurricane-prone areas and those areas that have those design pressure requirements, and your roof is gonna have a better chance of withstanding that extreme weather. So it starts with having great products. Then you need to have great testing and engineering to prove the viability of an installation. And then at the end of the day, you gotta have a great installer who can accomplish that installation assembly in order to give your roof the best chance it can have in hurricanes and extreme weather. All right, moving right along. How do metal roofs save energy? Okay, couple things here. So from an energy cost perspective, when you think about how your home or your building has to regulate the temperature, right? You've got your air conditioning that is constantly cooling down your house, and you have the warm air from the outside and the sun that's trying to get in. Well, metal roofs that have cool roofing pigments in their paint help to dissipate the sun's energy that's trying to get in the building. So number one, it's reflective. It reflects that sun's energy back out into the atmosphere. And number two, it's emissive. So that means it's going to hold on to that heat less. So sometimes in the summertime, when the sun heats up a roof, if you look at a standard asphalt shingle roof, that sun will heat up the shingles. And then even when the sun goes down, those shingles might still be holding heat. The difference with metal roofing is it's going to release that heat quicker. So it's going to cool down much faster, meaning that heat doesn't transfer into your building. So those two things working into tandem helps you save energy and save energy costs every single month. Last couple questions here. Why are metal roofs so expensive? Okay, I explained a little bit about this earlier, but I think there's 3 parts that go into the cost of really any project for your house. The metal roofs are no different. There's the material, the labor, and then the overhead that you're gonna pay to an installer. Starting with material, Steel or aluminum are two of the most common materials used to manufacture metal roofing, and that metal has a cost that's determined by the market, meaning that cost can fluctuate up and down. Same thing goes for asphalt shingles or anything else, but steel and aluminum is dictated by a ton of different factors. So you've got that material cost there. You've also got the cost of labor. When it comes to standing seam metal roofing, there's just not as many people that can install a standing seam metal roof properly. Not to mention, they just take more time to install. So that extra time means extra labor. And then when it comes to overhead, you're obviously going to be paying the overhead, which means profit, equipment, tools, things like that of the installer's company that you're actually hiring. So all three of those things go into the cost of metal roofing. Biggest thing, the number one thing out of those three is going to be the labor. It's going to take longer to install, and it's going to take more expertise to install standing seam metal roof than it is shingles. And that brings us to our final question. Let's check it out. Why are metal roofs so popular? Oh, this is a great question because we've seen metal roofing explode in popularity over the last 10, 15, 20 years, and it's only going up from here. So I think there's a couple reasons. Number one, seeing a growth in metal roofing because of necessity. When I talk about extreme weather and locations that get battered every single year by extreme weather and kind of suffer that destruction, metal roofs have been a kind of a bright spot in building science and allowing buildings to have a chance to withstand those weather events. So that's one thing. Second thing is, I think stylistic change over the years. It used to be for a long time that HOAs, municipalities looked down on metal roofs as being industrial looking or agricultural, really not suitable for their neighborhoods. But that's really changed as well. Again, from that necessity point of view, hey, we need better building materials, stronger buildings. But also from that design standpoint, there's so many colors that you can get with a metal roof, so many styles and profiles and designs that a metal roof can achieve. It really can match any type of aesthetic that your home or building is going for. And the proof is out there with metal roofing. I was reading an article from our friends at New Tech Machinery that metal roofs in residential buildings are projected to increase 19% between 2024 and 2028. And that's a huge number of roofs. That's a lot of metal roofs going up. So I think those are the two main reasons: necessity and aesthetics. Hey, so those are our 10 questions here at the Autocomplete interview. I want to thank Wired for the idea. This has been super fun. Thanks to my team for curating these. If you've got any questions that you'd like me to answer, comment down below here on the Metal Roofing channel or search them up into Google. Maybe we'll find them. All right, subscribe here to the Metal Roofing channel. As always, I'm Thad Barnette. Catch you next time. That was just a real walk down memory lane for me.